Hello, my loves. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Dustina. This is Spiritually Boujee Astrology, and we are going to take a deeper look at the full moon in Leo. Now, quick little reminder for everybody. All of my sessions are on special for the month of February. You can do an hour-long session with me for $35. You can do a 90-minute session with me for $50. All you have to do is go to the website, www.thespirituallyboujee.com. The link is listed in the description. Go to astrological consultations and you're going to see that it's a nice little headline, one-on-one sessions on special for February. Okay. I showed that in the week ahead forecast. I didn't feel the need to show it again in this one. So we're going to move along. We're going to get into it. And there's a couple things I want to cover in regards to kind of the collective and something that just kept hitting me. I will do a quick little focus on the medical astrology, because the one thing that I will say about medical astrology is it does not always follow the houses. And this is why I'll mention these transits by themselves as opposed to just putting focus on it whenever I talk about like the actual course of the transits. And then we'll actually get into the signs. When it comes to Leo, Leo is a representation of the ego. You as an individual, we all have a sun sign. And that sun sign will give us different depictions of who we are as an individual. But in a natal chart, it is also the representation of fathers, whether it's a good relationship or a bad relationship, disconnection, whatever. The sun can actually be a representation of fathers. In addition to that, the sun is a sign that is a masculine sign. So a lot of what we're going to talk about is going to have things tied to the masculine. And there is something about this particular vibration that feels like an ego check. Now, for some, it will be an ego check. For other people, it is going to be a revelation, a revealing of something that gives acknowledgement and boosts confidence. There will be some people in this vibration that will have a dignity and they will shine. They will actually do well, while others are going to have a humbling. And to be clear, what I said in the week ahead forecast, I'm saying it again here. It is not just directly during the full moon. The full moon is perfecting on the 12th at 7:54 a.m. Central Standard Time. But the moon is in Leo Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That full moon has a newly reborn Mercury that just went through a Cazimi over the weekend. And then the moon goes into Virgo. The moon's going to go into Mercury's sign. This is that last full moon before we go into eclipse season. So it tells me whatever comes to light, whatever gets revealed, whatever gets checked, whatever gets brought in a good way or a bad way. It's got layers and levels to where we're going to have changes to follow. The problem is some people are not going to immediately think of the changes that are necessary. They're going to need time to wrap their head around things. So what I picked up in my meditation is that this entire week, we're going from Monday through Friday, we're in a full moon vibration. So some of you already know where you're at in this vibration. You can feel the confidence boost. You can feel something picking up. You can feel some need to react, to respond, to do something. You're starting to see different elements of that recognition. Little attaboys coming around. Hey, that was such a good job. Hey, I love the way you look. I love your hair. I love the way you've been working around the office. I love how things have been going. I'm so appreciative of you. And you've had these little boosts in your confidence. You've been allowed to shine a little bit. There has been appreciation. There has been recognition. For other people, however, there has been a check to the ego. You're not as good as you think you are. You're not as strong as you think you are. You're not as right as you think you are. And there are elements of all of this that can come through this week, but there tends to be a primary theme for many of us. And whenever we tend to have these boosts, we tend to be a little boastful, a little bit more pride in the chest. That's really, really funny because this chest area is also associated with the sun. So we have a little bit more pride in our chest. puff out a little bit more. But for other people, that humbling can make you turn inwards. It can hit in a different way and recoil. And it's so funny how this one area of the sky can have such physical representations in the body. And I think that we're going to see elements of all of it, just bigger themes. Going into Wednesday, you already got an idea of whether you're recoiling because you don't like what other people are saying, or you are feeling confident and boasted because you are enjoying what other people are saying. Now, why am I so stuck on the fact that it's like other people? When it comes to the majority of the signs, most of us have our chart rulers in an angular sign. By most, I mean like half actually. Aries, your chart rulers in your fourth house. Leo risings, your chart rulers in the seventh. Libra risings, your chart ruler is in the seventh. Scorpio risings, our chart rulers are between the ninth and the fourth. The fourth is an angular house. But this is a full moon in our 10th, so we still got some angular stuff there going on. Sagittarius, your chart ruler has been in the seventh house for about 7 months now. Aquarius, you got Uranus going on in the fourth. Pisces, both of your chart rulers are going between the first and the fourth. So angular houses tend to be more impactful and they tend to tie into more connected individuals. This full moon is also squaring, 90-degree angle, squaring Uranus. Now, Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius. Uranus is trying to wrap up some of his shakeups in regards to the sign of Taurus. So there is something here that speaks to like final shakeups, because moving forward, we're getting closer to Uranus in Gemini, and future full moons are going to be squaring Uranus in Gemini. But there's something about this full moon, as much as there can be a completion, as much as there can be recognition, as much as there can be level up, there's also something about it that harkens back to last year. Specifically, the full moon in Leo that happened in August of 2024. I'm going to show the chart for this real quick, and then I'll kind of break it down why I'm so kind of stuck on this. Every time I've looked at this full moon, I've thought back to the last one. Ironically enough, I remember saying in the last one, there's something about this full moon that is going to come through with next spring's full moon. There's something that's going to pick up. Now, where are the similarities? The inner wheel right here, this is actually that full moon that happened in Leo. I'm sorry, not Leo. I'm saying it wrong. In Aquarius. I even titled it wrong. I'm so sorry. August 2024, this is the full moon in Aquarius, not Leo. I'll fix that later. But this was a full moon conjunct Mercury. The sun is conjunct Mercury. This is a full moon squaring Uranus. Neptune's roughly in the same area of the sky, but this time Neptune is direct. Saturn is roughly in the same area of the sky, but this time Saturn is direct. Venus is very tightly conjunct where the North Node was last year. And we have that dynamic between Jupiter and Mars. Now, back in August, we had a Jupiter-Mars conjunction that happened the week of this full moon. Right now, we are going through the Jupiter-Mars ANTISCIA, which is something I covered in the month ahead forecast of like secret transits or indirect transits, ones that you can't directly see. And as much as that conjunction was there before, now we have something known as an ANTISCIA, which is like a secret opposition. So there's kind of a boiling energy that before did not feel like a boiling point. But every time I've meditated on this particular full moon, there's something about it that takes me back to the full moon that happened in Aquarius last year. There's so much similarity in the transits and like the locations of everything that tells me we can be picking back up on something from last summer. I'm going to remind everybody, it was this messy Mercury retrograde timeline of August and some of the dynamics of July leading into said Mercury retrograde that put us into the volatility pattern that has roller coastered into this spring. So it makes sense for the collective, not just as an individual. Now, if you as an individual can see connections from last summer to now, That makes sense. However, I'm actually kind of talking about this for the collective. We had certain disruptions bringing us together, especially politically. I'm not trying to go political. I'm just reminding people of the atmosphere back then. There were certain things about last spring that were bringing us together very, very disruptively that now, whatever came together then, whatever we weren't seeing clearly then, we are now picking back up on, and we are seeing in a very different light. And over the course of the next few weeks, it is going to take us into a period of transition and, again, reactions. I'm saying again because that's something that I talked about in previous episodes, a multitude of them. So I'm not just referencing one. And the majority of you, if you've listened to me for a while, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of us as individuals, though, we're going to be reacting to our environment just as much as we will be reacting to things that are going on in our lives. But some of us, those reactions will not be by choice. And this is going to take me into the medical astrology. When it comes to Leo, Leo rules the heart, the spine, your natural vitality. Your immune system can be associated with the sun. If you're not getting enough sun, you're low on your vitamin D, your body doesn't function as well. The circulation of your body. But in addition to that, we have Mercury. Mercury is conjunct that sun. And as soon as the full moon perfects, the moon is going to go into Virgo. While the moon is in Virgo, in that Thursday, Friday time span, Mercury is going to go into Pisces, which will be another planet in its detriment. And I've already talked about that. So I'm adding layers to this now. There can be physical reactions in your body, big and small, in the bodies of the people that are around you, big and small. And I want to put emphasis on the key areas tied to this full moon. But this isn't everything because so many planets are either in their detriment or in their fall that sometimes I just kind of look at somebody going, oh my God, let's just throw a dart at the board and see what happens. It's so crazy. Okay. The sun rules again your heart, your spine, parts of your immune system, your natural vitality, and your circulation, quite literally like the pumping of your blood, because heart. Mercury rules the gallbladder, the pancreas, your large and small intestines, your spleen, and anything and everything on your body that is in duality, that you have more than one of. Legs, feet, arms, hands, eyes. If you start to have issues with blood pressure, which that would be circulatory, that would tie to the heart, it can also impact other areas of the body, specifically the things that are in duality. If you have a low blood pressure moment, you can start to feel real cold in the hands. You can have things that impact one area, but then they don't necessarily show here immediately, or we blow off this initial show and it manifests in a whole other way. And there is a big part of this full moon that I feel like a lot of people are going to see physical reactions to it. And I want people to be prepared. If you are seeing that kind of reaction in another person, I want you to be aware so you can take action if action is necessary. This week, not going to be easy on people's health, especially once the full moon perfects. And even in the immediate days afterwards, we can feel the difference in our body. We can feel the difference in the energy. We can see it when it comes to other people. So as much as we can have the ego check and the boost in confidence and those things that kind of come through, what I've always noticed with medical astrology is it doesn't have to be in your first house and it does not have to be in your sixth house of health. If the planet that area of the body rules is not in a good place, it can still find ways to manifest. And I want to be clear about that. Okay. The other thing that you can start to notice, given the condition of Mars being in its fall and being still retrograde and hitting that station point this week of just being very aggressive, but I can also see it like being aggressive towards the feminine, towards the family. Again, I'm not making this sign specific. And we can also see a very big change in masculine, because again, this is a full moon in Leo. Leo is a representation of masculine, ego, fathers. Fathers. You can see something different in your father, good and bad. You can just have things going on with your dad. Your dad can be having a good time at work. Your dad can be having some kind of physical reaction to this vibration. Both are plausible. Now, if you're a female, does that mean that you might not have a reaction, that you're not having a good week? No, it's not what I said. I'm saying this is the more dominant side of the energy. But if you have a bunch of Leo placements, you're going to potentially feel this energy too. But for the collective, moving away from the medical and going back now to the collective, a lot of what we're going to start picking up on right now and reacting to, again, we set the stage, we made the commitments, we did certain things last summer that are now coming back into full spectrum, full circle. And some of us are going to be taking certain actions that, again, are going to have an ego check. Others are going to have to find a balance in this vibration, find a confidence within yourself in this vibration to handle certain things, to be more seen, to be more at the forefront of a situation, whether big or small. So much of this vibration speaks to more than one person being involved. So, for those that have never listened to a new moon or full moon video before, that is okay. The way that I do this is that I don't care if your ascendant is at 2 degrees or 22 degrees. The entire sign that your ascendant is in, the entire zodiac sign, is your first house, and every numerical house will be associated with the next zodiac sign. So, with that being said, with Aries and Aries risings. All right, my loves, this is a full moon in your 5th house. Love, luck, joy, happiness, creativity. Squaring Uranus in your 2nd house of money. The sun, the ruler of this full moon, is in your 11th house of friends and networking, clients and colleagues. And I can see this kind of playing through in a couple different ways. Remember, some of the people that you are connecting with right now can make a very big difference as to how the rest of spring is going to go, because as we get deeper into March and April, y'all are going to be the star of the show. And given the fact that Venus is already in your 1st house, there is some type of notice, appreciation, or awareness that is coming through around you. And this is going to lead to more in the long run. So positive ways that this can come through. There can be something going on with loved ones or children that have a cost to it, that we're spending some extra money around, super mundane. Other ways that this can come through, we are selling our creative projects for money, because not all of us have kids. Some of us are talking to friends or lovers, and they're asking to borrow money. And whether you do or don't is up to you. Some of you are going to. Some of you are not. Given the fact that Uranus is newly direct, not all of you are in a fast energy to go, yeah, here you go. Here's $500. No, some of you might actually be putting your foot down going, what happened to the last time I let you borrow money? Because you never paid it back. No, really? You thought I forgot? No. Don't let that stuff happen. Now, some of you might have some different financial opportunities that lead to some level of personal happiness. That doesn't have to be heavy. Some of you might just be dealing with stuff tied to your kids and their little friends. Why do I say that? because the sun in the 11th house does not have to just be your friends. It can be the friends of others, because it's the 5th house from the 7th. And the fact that the ruler of your 7th house of relationships is in your 1st house. And some of you might actually be looking at letting somebody move in, and you're having a whole different level of awareness, whole different level of attention that is falling onto you because, again, you're letting somebody move in. If we're looking at the potential of letting somebody borrow money or letting somebody take on money or letting somebody move in, we can get really stuck in whatever happened the last time and be very weary about the idea that we're going to let somebody else in. So your first card here is the 4 of Cups. I don't necessarily know that I want to take a chance on something else. I don't necessarily know that I want to lend you the money. I don't necessarily know that I want to watch your kids on a regular basis. And very, very quickly, you can find yourself having to walk away from certain opportunities and unload certain burdens. And a lot of that can have to do with past situations. Not all of you, though, are dealing with in a negative sense. Some of you are having to reveal certain things. Some of you are telling your best friend, hey, your kid is an asshole when you're not around. This is the kind of stuff that I'm dealing with whenever I'm watching him. Well, then you don't just need to watch him anymore. Fine with me. I was trying to help you out. And those kinds of things can happen. It might be a little bit of a loss of your income all of a sudden, but that doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. But so much of this speaks to the potential of children, other people, other people's children, and some level of a financial impact. Now, moving this along, we again have a lot of the energy that's going to be moving into Aries. So some of these last little opportunities, potentially, these last little changes that are coming through are opening the possibilities for where that new focus is going to be. So we have the Fool card now. In addition to this Fool card, we also have the Page of Wands. Some of you might be getting, again, an opportunity for work, career, money from someone in your surroundings. And it might be something that you wouldn't normally do, but taking that opportunity has some kind of benefit and some type of like direction in it. So for some of you, there can be a direction that starts to come through in this full moon. The rest of your cards are really, really good. We have the 6 of Coins and we have this King of Cups. Listen to your heart, listen to your intuition, listen to what needs to change. Mars is starting to station, and the longer Mars is stationing, which he's going to go direct again, February 23rd. For the majority of us, it's February 23rd. For some time zones, it's going to be February 24th. But for the majority of us, it's February 23rd. There's going to be some restlessness that's going to start to develop in the energy, especially as the month continues. And there can be even some excitement for some. And given some of these cards right here, that also speaks to excitement, the excitement of different opportunities. But for others, there's an impatience. And I want you to pay attention to how you are feeling, especially with this Page of Wands energy. If things are happening fast enough, you're not getting responses fast enough, you don't feel like things are turning around. If we're struggling with levels of impatience, that's a part of the energy. And I want you to, again, find ways to work out your frustrations, find ways to work out your energy before you start to deal with that. For others, what's going to come through is the potential of having to move. And why am I saying that? Again, Venus is in your 1st house, and Venus's retrograde is going to start immediately after Mars. Your chart ruler turns direct in the 4th. There's something here that can impact the home life, that can impact the family. And it's like, because of someone else, Venus ruling that 7th house of other people, because of the impression, the situation of someone else, it's forcing you to make some changes and make some decisions. Some of you might know of the possibility of that new, again, going back to this Fool card, going back to this King of Cups, going back to a new situation, but that new situation isn't primarily your doing. It's not primarily your choice. It's reflective of someone else impressing something onto you. So a lot of the vibration right now speaks to changes that are coming through that some of us are not initiating on our own, or being forced because of the circumstances of someone else, but even their circumstances has levels of being forced also. Be aware of that, be prepared for that. Okay. Moving along. We're going to get to Taurus and Taurus risings. Okay, my loves. This is a full moon in your fourth house of home life, family, roots, ancestry, squaring Uranus in your first house. You guys can be someone that shakes up some things for other people. You can be telling members of your family that you're going to be doing something different in career. You can tell them that you just had a magical opportunity that just came through because you just had that Mercury Cazimi in your 10th. We just had something come to light. We just had something come into focus. We had just had some type of news, some type of information, something that just came through that was very surprising, but it is also going to have an immediate long-term effect because, again, it is a full moon in your fourth house of home life, and family. A lot of this energy speaks very, very vibrantly for the Taurus risings. A lot of you are looking at opportunities in regards to a long-term direction of where you're going next. And a lot of that speaks to the vibration of the fact that now Pluto is completely in your 10th house. We want something that's going to go for the long term. We want something that is going to be our own. We want something that is going to give us the security that we desire, but also that's going to make us the money that we desire. Now, not everybody's going to be happy about the changes. Not everybody is going to jump on board with you suddenly wanting to go in a different direction. But I want to be clear, babies, if that is what we're doing, if we're looking at opportunity, if we're looking at going into uncharted territory, the fact that Venus, your chart ruler, is slowly starting to station in the 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and endings, a lot of you are going into uncharted territory, and that's not common for you. And what I want to say next is you guys need to be very, very comfortable with being uncomfortable for the next few months. You will not start to feel stable the way that you desire to feel stable until we get into April, May, more so May for you guys. I think that you're not going to start to feel completely parts of yourselves, and it will be the new parts of yourselves until after Venus comes into Taurus, and that ain't happening until like May. I think it's late May too. I'm trying to do that part from memory. Okay. We got a couple cards here. So one, we again have the Knight of Wands. We have the Star card, like I said before, and we're going to have the Three of Wands. So many of us, the opportunities that are coming through, the connections that are being had, it's coming through from people in our surroundings with this Three of Wands energy. With this Star card, it kind of reminds me, again, we just had a Mercury Cazimi in your 10th house. There was an opportunity. There was certain kind of news, certain type of information that is instigating this Knight of Wands to move forward. People in your surroundings giving opportunity, giving clarity, giving an idea, planting some seeds within you that it's like intuitively, High Priestess card now, you feel it, you understand it, you believe it, you're checked into it, and you see the potential. Now, again, not everybody is going to see the potential that you see. We got this Five of Swords. Five of Swords is a conflict card, but it's an argumentative card that doesn't necessarily have an ending to it. Sometimes whenever we tell our parents or our significant other that we want to make a change and they're not ready for the potential changes, the arguments that will ensue afterwards is like they're just arguing to argue. Again, with Venus being in the 12th, you need to be very comfortable with being uncomfortable. You also need to be comfortable with cutting some people off. If some of the people that start to have arguments with you are being real frustrating, here's the Emperor card too. This is your 6th card, by the way. If they're being stuck in their ways and they're trying to understand why you suddenly don't want to be stuck in yours, why you would suddenly make this change. I thought we were going in this other direction. What do you mean you want to do this? They don't see the vision. They don't see the potential. They do not feel what you are tuning into. That doesn't make it wrong. The next 2 months have a large amount of change. Many of you are going to be cutting some people off. Many of you are going to be finding out some things that have happened in the past as you start to adapt and go into different directions and go into different fields or go into a deeper step into where you're going next. When certain things have been signed off on, like once you're getting deeper into where you're going next, you're going to realize not everybody's going to go with you. For some of you, the vibration around this full moon, that vibration will come through from the beginning. The universe will tell you up front, hey, they're not going with you. They don't see your vision. And you are going to have to change, alter, cut off some of the communication that you have with certain individuals, and most specifically, family. Your family, extensions of your family, your partner's family, they're not always going to notice it. Now, the other thing about having so much going in between the 4th and the 10th is this can also represent family members. There can be things that are going on with fathers and mothers, and it is the strongest for Taurus risings, Aquarius risings, and Scorpio risings. So you can have certain things that are going on with very specific family members that have just come to light. And that, again, is something that is going to speak to you have to become very comfortable with being in uncomfortable situations for the next few months. Your chart ruler is about to go retrograde in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and endings. It's not going to be easy. And you are going to be forced to do a lot of cutoffs as the next few months progress. But the awareness, the billboard, the bright light energy of where that's taking you starts in this full moon. Okay. Moving along. We're going to get to Geminis and Gemini risings. All right, my loves. We are not looking at a heavy full moon per se for you guys. This is a full moon in your 3rd house. Short distance travel, communication. The sun is in your 9th house. Short distance travel, education, things having to do with institutions, like talking to different institutions, looking at the potential of traveling. But if you're looking at travel, it could be travel for work. We can be taking a break. This is a full moon squaring Uranus in the 12th house. You can have some type of unexpected communication that's a little bit blindsiding. And it can also pick back up on something that goes back to last fall or last summer. Now, I'm going to remind you guys that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that happened in the full moon in Aquarius, that was in your 1st house. Right now, so much of this vibration is you finding a strength, Jupiter now direct, to handle certain masculine energy very, very differently, handling certain dominant energy very, very differently that has been pushing buttons, that has been testing your patience. And if you play your cards right, there can be something in the weeks ahead that starts to balance some of those scales in your favor. You got the Justice card. That is why I'm saying the balance thing. All right, put this back on me. You are looking for certain information in a lot of ways. You are looking for certain things to make sense. You are looking for a certain kind of vindication, for a certain type of justice, for a certain type of opportunity. We are waiting and looking for something, and there can be communication in the moment. Again, it is a full moon in your 3rd house. We can have some lessons. We can also have lessons that go back to a past situation. But just because we're picking up on the past situation doesn't mean we're going to repeat the past situation. In fact, in a lot of ways, we can pick up and go in a different direction, move with a different form of solidarity, and finally get some things turned around. Because again, a lot of the next few months is going to have a very big public image change for many of you, career changes for many of you. So what starts to come to light following this full moon can be a lot of opportunity that, again, can balance scales. So let's look at the cards. We have the Magician card, our little alchemist, very mercurial card. We have the Queen of Swords. She is pursuing her passion, through truth, through facts, the figures, the receipts. The thing about the Swords cards is there's no emotions. The sun is in Aquarius. Jupiter is in your first house. The facts are bigger for you than anything else. Now, the next two cards we get are the Seven of Swords and the Justice card. Now, the Seven of Swords, this is a betrayal card. This is a sneaky link card. This is a backstabbing card. But it's higher levels of betrayal. It's not just like the catty behavior of one or two people talking behind your back. It's not high school energy. It's bigger than that. And it was followed by this Justice card. So when certain people are doing some things very sneaky behind your back, that is vindication to rebalance the scales for you. And that's what I was saying before. With this Justice card, that scale is what popped out for me, like visually, whatever I was talking in the beginning. Certain things that start to come together, certain bits of information, certain parts of the situation, certain information coming to light, coming into focus can shift some things into your favor. And the next two cards speak very, very well to that. We have the Three of Cups, which is actually a communal card. It's a connection card. It's people that we surround ourselves with. Venus is in your 11th house of friends. Some of the opportunities that can be coming through, some of the connections that are coming through, some of the situations that are coming around can be connected to other people. Is very, very clear about that. Jupiter is the ruler of your 7th house, and he's in your 1st house right now. So very much the influence of other people, but it has this following of the 10 of Cups. So there's something hopeful. There's something helpful. There's something very, very beneficial in this energy. And over the course of the next few months, there can be a lot of promise in the shifts and the changes that are going to be impacting the way that you connect with certain people and where you're going next in regards to your goals, in regards to your public image, and in regards to your career. Movement, getting out of your comfort zone, taking steps in different fields and different directions and different opportunities speaks volumes for you. And a lot of this energy is starting to prepare for whenever Uranus comes into your 1st house later this year and starts to ignite a whole new level of independence. There's preparation in the vibration, especially for the Gemini risings. But this is setting the stage for where we will be having changes later. So pay attention to the opportunities that are coming through in the communication that's coming through, especially if it's from people from the past. Okay, moving along. We're going to get to Cancers and Cancer risings. Oh, my loves. I know you're so irritable, and I know you've been feeling like you're in your villain era, and you're feeling like if one more person says the wrong thing, it is not going to go well for them. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that Mars is now starting to station in your 1st house. And it is either going to make you very, very boastful, very, very confident, or it is going to make you very, very irritable, or it can be a mixture of both. Now, this is a full moon in your 2nd house of money, your assets, your stuff. The sun is in your 8th house, which is other people's money, other people's assets, and other people's stuff. Squaring Uranus in your 11th house of friends and networking, clients and colleagues. Financial changes and how you connect with your clients and how you connect with certain people and how you connect with society are coming through. But I want to be absolutely clear, given the fact that Mars is stationing in your 1st, some things are clear, but they're not going to move fast. They're not going to move fast. A lot of people, whenever it comes to some of the financial opportunities here, the financial obligations, whatever is coming through, whether it's a job opportunity, whether it's a business venture, whether it's an investment, whatever it is, because there's a lot of asset finance stuff that's going on right here. The people that you're waiting on, they're going to take their sweet time. They're going to take their time about it. They're not going to move fast. And for a lot of my Cancer risings, I feel like you guys are not the subject of an ego check per se. Some of you will be. Others of you, you're the one giving the ego checks to people. Your cards are taking their time. Hold on. They came out in like a weird pattern. Okay. Okay. Moving on. Okay. Now, again, with Mars in your first house, what I've always said for the Cancer risings is so much of the potential of right now is speaking to whole new paths and patterns in regards to the way you are working and the way that you're going to be moving forward in this world. And I mean that. But I also know that a lot of you are having to jump through some hoops, or you're having to make other people jump through hoops. And sometimes that means an argument or two. 5 of Wands. You guys can be the combative ones with Mars being retrograde in your first house. You're irritable. You want to take an action. But over the next few weeks, Mars stationing, you can't take action. You're going to be waiting, and you're most likely waiting on the other side to figure it out. So this 5 of Wands, again, we got a combative energy, but we also have the 7 of Coins vibration. This is the planting of seeds. Notice that we have our nice little timepiece here in the middle. Yeah, we plant seeds, and it takes time to grow. It takes time to germinate. It takes time to turn into the beautiful flower or plant or tree or whatever we're talking about. We have to be prepared to give other people time to get their shit together. 7 of Coins. Now, given the fact that the Mercury Cazimi was in your 8th house, all of that squaring Uranus in the 11th house, you are waiting for other people to figure out whatever they need to figure out. And a lot of people are going to be very much struggling with either the decisions that they have to make, and because they're not ready to make certain decisions, we got this Queen of Swords energy, and we also have this 2 of Coins. So Queen of Swords, 2 of Coins. So we have these both. One needs all the information, but the other is in a situation of, I don't want to make a change. I don't know which way to go. I don't know what's right and what's wrong. And it's going to require, again, people needing time to wrap their head around things. I don't feel like a lot of you are going to feel the green light of turnaround until after Mars turns direct. And that, again, is going to be the 23rd. But for some of you, that next step, that change, the boastful reaction, so to speak, it's not really going to hit until March 1st. And that's when Venus is going to turn retrograde in your 10th house. So a lot of you over the next few weeks, we're waiting on the opportunity, Page of Wands. We're waiting on the decision. We're waiting on someone to give us the green light. And until that point, it's like being stuck in a mental prison. You will be stewing. So we have this 9 of Swords energy. This is your last card. You will be stewing. You will be waiting. You will be subject to the other people figuring their stuff out. Once their decision is made, once you have the approval, once you have the green light, once you have the go ahead, once you have whatever it is that you need, sorry guys, I'm all messed up here right now. Once you have whatever it is that you need, that's whenever you'll get the chance to react. That's whenever you can finally feel progression. That's whenever you can finally feel the turnaround. And a lot of you, whatever you go into next, it is going to require a level up. It is going to require training. It is going to require education. It is going to require a lot. But after all of this time, as long as you got the green light, many of you are going to be perfectly well and satisfied and okay with whatever that direction is going to be. The opportunities are coming. The shift is coming. The changes are coming. They're just going to take their sweet ass time. You might have 1 or 2 things happen directly in the full moon. Some of you, it was the days leading up to this full moon, especially whenever Mars hit that trine to Saturn. For some of you, it was just those days leading up to the full moon. Others, it's going to be throughout this week. But you're still very much, the majority of you, you're waiting on the green light, the decision, the go ahead from someone else. Okay. Okay. Moving along. We are going to get to Leos and Leo risings. All right, my loves. Now, I know y'all ain't happy. I know y'all are super frustrated right now. You've been frustrated with people at work. You're frustrated with your job. You're frustrated with yourself. You don't know if you're in the right spot. Some of you are a little bit paranoid. Some of you are just a little bit frustrated with anything and everything that moves. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that Mars has been in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and endings. However, we are now going into a full moon in your first house, a full moon in Leo, but the sun is in the 7th house. Whatever changes you guys will be making will most likely have some type of influence, whether positive or negative, voluntary or forced, from another side. Because again, your chart ruler, the sun, is in the 7th house. Other people. Some of you are going to be grateful and happy with this opportunity, happy with the potential. Some of you are getting an outlook of a new direction in career. Some of you are going to be so pissed off about what they said, how they said it, the way they're judging you, the way certain things came across, that it is going to really push you to make a whole different decision in regards to the career and the direction you wish to go moving forward. But it's not all going to happen in the full moon. It's not. For a lot of you, it's going to happen over the course of the entire lunar month ahead. Again, this is the last full moon before we go into eclipse season, and the next full moon will be an eclipse in your 2nd house of money. Many of you are going to have a sudden shift, a sudden judgment, a sudden thing from the other side, from other people, that is going to ignite you into making a decision, going into a new direction, and looking for a whole new way to make money. That's not specific just to this full moon. That's going to be a roller coaster ride over the course of the next 2 months following this full moon. So, I don't know who said what. We got this Ace of Wands energy. We got this Ace of Cups energy. And we have this Page of Swords energy. Whatever new truth, whatever new information, whatever new opportunity that has come to light requires a very different path, passion, a decision to do something different. And there's something about this new that also has that heart's content to it. It's something that's able to give you a lot more contentment in your space, in your life, with the idea of where you're going next into the future. And for some of you, that's going to have a bit of a Delulu effect. We're going to have a bit of a dreamy effect. We have the Knight of Cups. If I just follow my heart's desires, everything is going to work out. For some of you, that's true. The negative part to having Mars retrograde in your 12th house is that a lot of you have unknowingly been committing your own undoing. For some of you, it has just brought up all the old fears, all the old frustrations, all that paranoia, what I was saying before. But for some of you, it's not paranoia. It's not the old frustrations. It's not the old wounds. No. It's you been making certain decisions and taking certain actions that can be your own undoing. And whatever reflection is coming from the other side can feel like a betrayal. 3 of Swords. Whether it is an actual betrayal or not is going to vary between everybody. For some of you, it will not be a real betrayal. It will be the perception of betrayal. For some of you, you're going to have somebody in your surroundings letting you know, hey, old boy, old girl, the person that you've been spending your time with, your boo, your whatever, they ain't been acting right. They've been doing something funny. And some of you are going to, again, experience levels of betrayal. 3 of Swords energy, still with that 3 of Swords. Some of you, it's betrayal. The majority of you, though, it is work-related. It is a passion. It is a direction. It is wanting to change something, find something that gives you more passion, find something that helps you feel more secure. And again, we want to make these changes in a work environment. 8 of Coins. Now, some of you, the changes that are about to come through are a very unexpected change. Unexpected change from another person that gives you an opportunity with that square to Uranus in the 10th. But that means this unexpected opportunity means leaving some things behind. Mars in the 12th, in that trine to Saturn in your 8th house. For others, you are feeling some level of judgment, unfair judgment, undue judgment. And that level of judgment is going to enforce that you start to make a certain decision to leave something behind. But for others, if you are stuck in a form of paranoia, and given Mars being retrograde in the 12th, there can be very big bouts of paranoia. You could be making emotional decisions that are going to have a larger long-term impact by not taking the step back and finding ways to check yourself. Whatever changes we start to do next are going to be necessary. But how big or small those changes are is all going to be a matter of perception. And what my fear factor is for you guys is that you're going to start making a bunch of changes without thinking things through. Because again, so much of the energy speaks to emotional undoing, with Mars still being retrograde in your 12th house. If you're going to step away from a job, I would suggest waiting until after at least Mars turns direct. And again, that's not going to be until the 23rd. But if you think about it, that's like a week and a half away. That's not a long time. Take time to wrap your head around whatever is being revealed these few days and make educated, logical decisions, not emotionally charged ones. Because some of you might be doing large levels of commitment to your own undoing and then have to suffer the consequences of it later. Do your research, do a certain amount of diligence before we jump the gun. Just trust me on that. Okay. Moving along. We're going to get to Virgos and Virgo risings. This is not an easy full moon for you guys. It's not. Oh, this is a full moon in your 12th house, the unknown, the unseen, endings, betrayals, hollow ground, things going on behind your back, things going on behind the scenes, things that need to be closed out and ended. And again, some of you can have certain things in this moment that speak to your own undoing. For others, it is speaking to the potential of loss, death, or travel. And it's like, that's a hell of a jump there, Dusty. Why would you say take it from that extent? Because this is a full moon squaring Uranus in your 9th. Many of you might actually be traveling to unknown lands, places you've never been before. And that does not have to be a bad thing. However, considering so much of this as 12th house energy, and now we have Venus in your 8th house, 2 of your death houses are activated. You can have something or someone in your surroundings where we have death or betrayal, specifically financial betrayal, given the way some of the energies are going to come moving forward. Now, with Mars stationing in your 11th house of friends, network, clients, and colleagues, you can have someone that you were working well with before, that you were committing to in the past, that now things are starting to come back around and we're questioning whether we made the right decision, whether we should have been working with somebody different or not. There could be something that's starting to come back around with Mars hitting that trine to Saturn in your 8th house. I'm sorry, not your 8th house, your 7th house of other people. Mercury, your chart ruler, is also about to go into your 7th house of other people. So much of this vibration can have you going into uncharted territories, traveling to new places to meet people you've never met before. And all of this can have a very big impact in regards to career. So again, doesn't always have to be negative. It's just being aware that there can be good just as much as there can be bad. Now, the one thing that I will bring up whenever it comes to the 12th house energy This is the last full moon before we go into eclipse season, and the eclipse energy that is going to start a month from now is going to change you as an individual. And usually whenever we go through that lunar month, 12th house lunar month before we go into the first house, it's a cleansing, it's a clearing, it's letting something go, it's removing certain people, it's finalizing certain things so the new vibration can come through. And again, where we go in eclipse season is going to impact you as an individual as well as your financial situation, because the eclipse axis is going to be the 1st and the 8th this time around. So there's a lot of things that speak to new coming through, but as much as that, there can be things that speak to closure, loss, death, removal, cutting people off. And a lot of that's going to be very, very necessary for that new version of you to come through and thrive in the changes that will happen in the first eclipse axis, in the first eclipse season, which will be mid-March to mid-April. So we have this Nine of Swords energy. It's kind of a mental prison energy. We also have this Tower card. We had some very harsh cards coming through. So whenever I was saying loss and death and cut off, I meant it. But some of you, the loss and whatever you're completing can have to do with divorce or bankruptcy. We have this Five of Coins energy. So I look at the fact that we take the perfect 10 and we have to break it in half. Here's your share. Here's your half of the money. Here's your half of the assets, the debt, whatever. Here's my half. There's a vibration that speaks to levels of closure. Some of you, it's going to be actual closures of structures, closures of stores. For some of you, it is going to be finally getting out of your mental prisons. That's still the same two cards, the Nine of Swords and the Tower card. But again, we have this Five of Swords. So a lot of this energy speaks to paying some people off, cutting some people off, removing some people. And some of that can also be some of the people that go back to last summer. And some of the people you might have brought into your circle, brought into your family, brought into your job, brought into wherever, might not be exactly what you thought they were. They gave you a good bill of sale, but the production, the facts that come afterwards might not always be living up to expectations. So I want to be clear about that. However, it's not all negative. We have this Three of Coins energy. This is a work card. I always look at this card and I look at the pumps and the star. This reminds me of like the oil fields in Texas. Like it's such a Texas card. There's a lot of work to come through. And as we go through these next few months, you need to be very, very clear about what's important to you, what you're willing to share with others, and what needs to stay close to your chest. Some things can be delegated. Some money can go out the door. But make sure we're crossing our I's and dotting our T's with wherever we're starting to put some of the investments, because this Four of Coins energy, a lot of it means we need to be a little bit more stingy. We need to be close to our chest with the cards, close to our chest with the pocketbooks, okay? We don't want things to get too loose, because so much about this vibration is meant to lift you into a new dynamic. It's meant to lift you into a new direction. It's meant to lift you into a whole new passion with this Empress card. There's a need to rise up, to level up. But not everything and not everyone goes with you in the level up. So there's a cleansing and there's a clearing. And for a lot of you, over the course of the next 2 months, it is going to deeply impact parts of your identity. And the person that you were a year ago is not going to be the person that I'm going to be talking to come March and April and May. Okay. That can be a good thing. That can be a bad thing. Not wishing bad. I'm being realistic. Okay, moving along. All right, for Libras and Libra risings, my loves, my loves, my loves. This is a full moon in your 11th house of friends and network and clients and colleagues. Every time I meditate Libra risings, I just know it's going to be so interesting for you guys. Oh, we can have things coming back up from last summer tied to friends and clients and colleagues. Venus, your chart ruler, is now in your 7th house of relationships and legal matters. For a lot of you, whatever's about to come up next has legality tied to it. Now, Mars, the ruler of your 7th house of relationships and legal matters, is in your 10th house of career and public image. Some of what's starting to come up can have to impact your career. It can impact your goals. It can quite literally impact your public image. And for many of you, it can lead to new connections. Please note I said connections, and I do not want them to be looked at as romantic connections. It can lead to new connections and new possibilities. It's just going to take some time to completely unfold and to completely manifest. Opportunities are coming, but first, certain things have to be exposed. Whatever gets exposed, whatever comes to light, is going to directly impact the way, one, other people see you, Venus in the 7th, and two, the way you see other people, Venus in the 7th. It's going to be very interesting these next few months. And a lot of this full moon is opening a can of worms to lay out some groundwork and make some things really come to the surface and really come to light. For some of you, what happens next is going to be very, very emotional. For others, it is going to be the facts, the figures, the receipts. It is going to rely on practical, logical information. A lot of your cards are swords. There's no emotions whenever it comes to swords. We stick to the facts, the figures, the receipts. We stick to the information that we know, that we have, that we can prove. Information can be our own undoing just as much as it can be the undoing of another person of the other side. Now remember, as soon as Mars turns direct, Venus is going to turn retrograde in your 7th house. Whatever's going on publicly, whatever information has been coming to light, whatever new opportunities have been coming through, whatever undoing is starting to come through, this Ace of Swords energy and this Knight of Swords energy, put this next to it. Whatever this part of the vibration is, there will be a reaction from the other side or regarding the other side. Because again, Venus, your chart ruler, is turning retrograde in the 7th, immediately following that ruler turning direct. There is a reaction here. For a lot of you, whatever you're going next has to do with your partnerships, relationships, legal matters, and there's some pursuant of information and truth that is going to come to light. Now, we have this High Priestess card. There will be some things that have not completely come to light. Some will come to light in this full moon. Others will come to light over the course of these next few weeks when the planets are turning directions. Again, Mars turning direct and Venus turning retrograde. Some things we just have to let them happen on their own. And you got to sit there with that smug little smirk on your face, knowing that certain people are going to be attribute to their own undoing. This High Priestess card is a very intuitive card. Listen to your intuition. Trust your intuition in regards to what you're doing next. And some of the new opportunities that are going to come through are going to lead people in better directions, given the next two cards. So we have the Two of Cups. Yes, this is a lover's card. I am not in the favor of relationships. You guys know this until after we get into April. But commitments do not have to be in the form of relationships. Commitments can be in a form of another person coming together, opportunities coming together, business partnerships, the potential of a job opportunity that puts you into a higher field, like whatever starts to come together in this regard, in the long run is going to be better than what you're leaving behind because we have the Six of Swords energy. In the traditional deck, this is a woman on a boat. She can't see the coastline. She can't see how far away the dock was, and she can't see where she's going next. Everything is very, very foggy. And she doesn't care because in her mind, wherever she's going next is going to be better than what we're leaving behind. But a lot of you have not dealt with the full impact of what we have to leave behind yet. And over the course of these next few months, starting in this full moon, We are going to see the area where we are going to make the choice to leave something behind. It's going to take some time, but there is things that are going to get left behind. Now we also have this Page of Cups energy. Now, whenever it comes to the Page of Cups, this can sometimes have to do with children. Again, the sun is in Aquarius. It is in your 5th house, which is a house of children. It is a full moon in your 11th house. This can be friends, network, clients, and colleagues. But the 11th house is also 5th from the 7th. It can also have to do with the children of another. Stepchildren, children of your boyfriend, your girlfriend, students, children of another. For some of you, whatever is going to happen next is going to have an impact on loved ones. It is going to have an impact on children, positive and negative. And whenever you're making some of the decisions that you make, I want you to pay attention to your surroundings. And remember, the impact of your decisions is not just on you. It also impacts other people. And the repercussions of whatever can happen, whether it's the other side reacting or you having to react because the other side is acting a certain way. Remember the collateral damage of your loved ones and of your children if you need to pay attention to that. Not all of us have kids, I know. Pay attention, though, to the collateral of who can be impacted by the decisions that are about to be made. Something is coming to light in the vibration around this full moon. And if you think about what's happened to Leo in the last year and a half, that Venus retrograde last summer, the Mercury retrograde, not the Venus retrograde of 2023, the Mercury retrograde of 2024, the Mars retrograde that started in 2024 and moved into 2025, and everything else that's happened in Leo. There's a lot of things that has brought this timeline full circle to the extent that it's going to go into. And for a lot of us, there are reactions that are going to be coming that are a long time coming. Okay, moving along. All right, we're going to get to Scorpios and Scorpio risings. Oh, babies, 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 babies. I personally love this full moon for us. I hope the majority of you are actually doing well with this, but let's talk about what we're looking at. One, we have a full moon in the 10th house of career and public image, goals for the future. It's very, very well placed. Squaring Uranus in the 7th house of other people. Other people are involved. The sun, the ruler of this 10th house, is in your 4th house of home, home life, and family. Some of you guys are going to be having career opportunities that are going to impact the home life, impact the family. It's going to lead to a move. Some of you are getting new opportunities in the workspace tied to other people, and it could even be like family businesses. And it's an unexpected opportunity. It's something that wasn't necessarily planned. It's not always been the direction that you thought you were going to go, but it's like as soon as that opportunity come through, it's like, yeah, I'm in. Let's take it. Let's go. And we're making a clear decision to move away from one direction and step up and step into something new. Something that can have a huge benefit for us in regards to our career, our goals for the future, and again, financially. Now, for some of you, that means moving very, very quickly and learning things very, very quickly. We're going to have to take certain steps to learn in the moment. Some of us are going to be teaching certain people how to do our jobs very, very quickly because they're going to be taking over what we're doing. We're making transitional decisions that are going to have a big long-term impact. But the transitional part is, yes, you can make the decision to do something, but in the long run, it's going to take time for everything to line out, for everything to hit the new direction, for everything to go how it's going to go. We have the Ace of Swords. We have the 8 of Cups. And we have the 4 of Cups. Now, some of you, whatever the opportunity that is coming through right now, you can struggle, Four of Cups, if whether you should go in this other direction. Do you change companies to get the position that you want? Do you change fields to get the security that you want? Do you start putting yourself out there more in a public way for you to be able to get the results that you want? Yes. Many of you are going to have to do something out of the box, out of the norm for you to be able to get the financial security that you desire. And a lot of that speaks to, again, taking an opportunity that we would not normally take, walking away from that old way of doing things, the old habit, and accepting something new. But the new is very, very logical. Ace of Swords. It's very, very logical. Putting it all together on paper. Yeah, that works. Yeah, that gives me the money that I want. Yeah, this helps me pay the bills. Yeah, this is going to work out in the long run. Yeah, if I just go in this direction, if I trust in this situation, there's nothing right now that tells me I can't trust in this situation. It's just a matter of getting into the right spot. Oh, but after you pursue this new light, this new decision, this new direction, Knight of Swords energy, after we make the logical decision to pursue wherever we're going next, pursue this enclave, pursue this legal matter, pursue this partnership, pursue this job, things are going to start moving very, very quickly. We have the Chariot card. Not only do we have the Chariot card, we also have this World card. So for a lot of people, yes, this is a full moon in the 10th house. This World card also speaks to 10th house stuff, public image, hopes and dreams for the future, goals for what we wish to obtain and how we wish to be seen and how we wish to be known. So much of where we are going next is going to have a very rampant, fast-paced energy lining things up. And your ability to take risks and move as fast as the energy will allow you to move. There is financial return. There is financial reward. There are financial gains now that Jupiter is newly direct. Now, all of the transits are going to start to go between your 6th house of health, your health, but it's also a work house. Aries is a work house for us too. And that 5th house of love and luck and joy and romance and happiness and children. As we start to do new things in our routine, we can see just how much we enjoy it. The more we enjoy it, the more money that we can make. The pattern of where we're going next, by taking steps in a different direction, by moving in a different flow, by going down a different course, by upping our game a little bit, the potential is mind-blowing. The rewards will come quickly. And by the time we get to May and Mars is back in your 10th house of career, you'll have questioned why you never went this direction before. Why did I wait so long? This is a great idea. I'm making so much money. There's so much possibilities. The reward will come very, very quickly. This energy, in my opinion, is the best placed for Scorpio rising. We're going to get to Sagittarius and Sagittarius risings. All right, my loves. This is a full moon in your 9th house. Higher education, higher learning. Again, we've had a lot of changes in this area over the course of the last 2 years. So a lot of you, whatever you're starting to roll out right here, it's kind of a long time coming, and it can also have financial impacts for you. Also, because that Mars retrograde in your 8th house. So many of you are looking at the potential of whole new ways of making money, whole new ways of spending money. And some of you, that is going to impact the home life. It is impacting the family. It is also, again, impacting the way that you connect with other people. Over the course of the next 2 months, whenever we go through eclipse season, because again, this is the last full moon before we go into eclipse season. Eclipse in Virgo, your 10th house of career, your goals, your career, your public image. So many of you have opportunities that are coming through from another person, from the other side, from a different individual, and it is requiring you to kind of like learn a whole new way of doing things while also learning through a whole new level of experience. And that does not have to be a bad thing. This is not a heavy full moon, but it is setting the stage for opportunities that are going to come through in eclipse season. And eclipse season has got a lot of benefits for you. Long-term benefits and short-term benefits. Now, some of you are not necessarily going to believe me on the benefits part, because the first two cards that came out were the Ten of Swords and the Queen of Swords. So that's going to hurt a little bit. I mean, some of you in this moment, whatever comes to light, whatever gets revealed, is going to lead to something changing in the career path. But in the moment, it might not feel like a benefit. And a lot of that speaks through, again, this Ten of Swords and this Queen of Swords. Now, again, for some people, there is a cutoff of certain family members, your dads, your siblings, sometimes even mom, cutoff of certain family members. You can have certain family members that are starting to travel in, that once they arrive at your house, that they create a shakeup. That can also be a part of this energy too. And it's like, this is the last time your mom is going to come stay with us. I'm never doing this again. The next time she can get an Airbnb, she can get a hotel, she can stay with your brother. I don't care. So some of you, whatever comes through in this full moon is like an arrival of someone traveling a long distance. But like once they come through, it's like, oh, I'm never doing that again. Some of you might get a little blindsided by what is starting to come to light. We have this moon card. You guys are the first one to get this card. The thing about the moon card is it's one, very, very watery. You can see the lobster here. Whenever I look at this, I always think of one. The moon is the ruler of Cancer, so I think of Cancer. And again, Mars is retrograde in the sign of Cancer. That's an 8th house placement. It's a financial placement. We can be having major shifts and turnarounds in regards to the different ways that we make money. That can have a positive impact on the household, but it also means shifts in this career area that are going to happen very, very quickly over the course of the next few months. And some of the opportunities that are going to come through have not been completely revealed. The thing about the moon is it reflects light. It does not create light. Therefore, everything it touches is not always clear. There's shadowed areas. There's things that need to get revealed. Over the course of the vibration following this full moon, there will be opportunities that get revealed. There will be certain things that start to come into light. And this takes me to the rest of your cards, and the rest of your cards are very, very positive. The people that you are surrounding yourself with, whether it's in a new place or whether it's in the existing place, it's very celebratory. It's very find your tribe, very, very promising in this regard. A lot of the big changes that we have coming in career have a huge element of just like public success and strong elements of public image and strong elements of something going very, very well and finding peace in regards to like getting certain levels of achievement. And the final card that we have is this 10 of coins. It's that perfect 10 card. We want the perfect 10. We want things to go well. I'm saying that some of the changes, even if they're negative in the moment with that 10 of swords and the Queen of Swords, so your first two cards that came out, even if we have something that is harsh and negative in the moment, doesn't mean that it's going to be a bad thing for you in the long run. Sometimes things will happen to push your buttons to force you to go in a different direction. Sometimes certain people show up at your house and it makes you work overtime. Using this as just another example. But that over time leads to a different opportunity coming through. Like, well, just so you know, there's going to be a job opening here pretty soon. Do you want to like work towards a promotion? Do you want to try this other direction? Do you want to try this other thing? Hell yeah. Why didn't you tell me about this before? I didn't think that you were that serious. The image change, the potential of change. And a lot of you, because Jupiter is in that 7th house, the potential change is reflective of another person seeing you differently, of other people seeing you differently. And that is what's allowing the opportunities to come to light. But knowing that over the course of the next 2 months, we're going into eclipse season, and that first eclipse, the full moon in Virgo, is in your 10th house of career. That's a goal trajectory change. But we're laying the groundwork now for what that's going to look like. So I'm not just saying the next month, I'm saying like the next 2 months. We're setting a stage right now. Okay, moving along. Moving along. We're going to get to Capricorns and Capricorn risings. Hello, my loves. Oh, you guys are really waiting on someone else to figure it out. To either start behaving appropriately, to start living up to their word, to start doing something differently. We are waiting on someone else to just figure it out. Why do I say that? Because that Mars retrograde is in your 10th house of, I'm sorry, that Mars retrograde is in your 7th house of other people and partnerships and relationships. And it feels like the other side just does not have it all figured out. We also have this energy picking back up in your 8th house, which is a financial house. We've got some finances that are going to be adjusting in the month ahead. Some of you, it's going to be a positive adjustment. Some of you, it is going to be a negative adjustment. Some of you made certain changes, applied for new jobs, did certain things over the course of the last few months, especially whenever Mars was retrograde in Leo. So that was November, December, that now we're starting to see the next level of it. Now we're starting to see the next side. Some of us were questioning our judgment. Some of us are starting to feel a certain type of overwhelm. And some of us are starting to be recognized in some level of achievement. Whether that's good achievement or bad achievement, it's a very different conversation. But there is something very much tied to the other side. You know, the other thing about Mars is the fact that it rules your 4th house of home life, family, roots, ancestry, and mothers. Some of you are specifically waiting on a partner to figure something else, to make some type of judgment call. So that way certain things can finally get lined out in regards to your home life. Whatever happens at the end of the Mars retrograde, the reaction, Venus turning retrograde, is in your 4th house of home life, and family. Whatever's happening on that other side with that other person, whether that is a family member, whether that is an actual romantic partner, whether that is a legal matter, is going to directly impact the family once we get into the 1st of March, once we get into eclipse season, and it is going to have big shifts in a multitude of areas. And it's going to lead for certain things to come through. But again, many of you are waiting on another side. We got this Queen of Swords right here to make a decision. For some of you, it's an emotional decision. For some of you, it's just waiting for them to finally make a decision. Queen of Swords. We also have this 7 of Cups. There is overwhelm. I always look at this as like the juggling plates, like trying to spin all the plates all at once. We got to keep them going and going and going to keep them all in the air. But sooner or later, you get tired. You're going to miss a stick. You're going to knock something over, and then everything comes tumbling down. We're trying to spin all of the plates, and we're trying not to allow for everything to hit the ground. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we're always going to be successful in this vibration. Oh, we're waiting on a decision. We're waiting on a judgment call. We're waiting on a verdict. We're waiting on someone in a higher course of authority to say or do whatever they're going to do. We have the Judgment card, and we have the Hierophant. Again, some of whatever is about to come through from that other side is going to lead to a closure. Full moons have to do with completions. A lot of time, this is a full moon in your 8th house. This again can be a financial house. A judgment can lead to financial gains or a financial loss. And it again is going to have some level of impact on the home life, on the family. And whenever it comes to the Hierophant card, this is very much a tradition card. And this is why I keep going back to the family part. Part of it's the astrology. Part of it's also these cards. Now, once certain people make their decisions, here we go. We have the Seven of Wands. This can be a combative card, but it's like a persuasive combative card. It's like, I need to convince the other side. I need to push my agenda. I need them to understand. Once we can have these conversations, Seven of Wands energy, what can start to come through afterwards over the course of the months ahead, because again, this is the last full moon before we go into eclipse season. So a lot of this vibration is setting the stage, not just for the next month, but for the next 2 months. It's bringing things to light that are going to impact the next 2 months. And a lot of the vibration for you speaks to luck, love, romance, Uranus in the fifth. Things with your children, Uranus in the fifth. The financial houses, Sun and Mercury in the second, full moon in the eighth, but then also that fourth house of home, home life, and family. A lot of the finances, a lot of the things that are going on, a lot of the decisions from the other side have a bigger impact than just one area. Some things are going to require convincing. Other things are going to allow for a certain amount of achievement to finally get reached once the other person is finally ready to listen, once you're able to finally connect some dots, once the trigger finally gets pulled. If we are waiting on a turnaround on the other side, Mars will not turn direct until February 23rd. So that's a good week and a half. In this time frame, some of you guys might be forced to make new decisions to go down a different path because we can't continue to wait for them anymore. And some of the Seven of Wands convincing energy might be them trying to convince you to listen to them. But so much of the vibration speaks to waiting for someone else to pull the trigger, to make a decision, so you can move forward. The good news is, over the course of these next 2 weeks, while Mars is stationing, Saturn, your chart ruler, is also going to leave shadow and finally go in a new direction and finally start to do something new. So this next week and a half can be very, very important to setting all of the stages and again, all of the reactions and all of the changes that are going to come through over the course of the next 2 months. It's going to be big. It's going to be busy. A lot of things are about to hit. Okay, moving along. Oh, we're going to get to Aquarius and Aquarius risings. Oh my goodness, my loves, my loves, my loves. This is a full moon in your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, legal matters. Squaring Uranus in your 4th house of home, home life, family. These situations tied to the other person, to the other side, are hitting a whole different peak in this full moon. And whatever gets decided in regards to that other side, how their impact of situations has been impacting you. Because again, the sun, the ruler of your 7th, is in your 1st. What they're saying about you, what they're revealing about you, is also forcing you to make a decision that many of you are struggling to face. You will face it in the full moon. You will start to make certain decisions, and it is going to be something that is going to impact the family, given Uranus in the 4th house. Now, you're getting closer to something, especially in regards to moving in a whole different path and finally getting some things handled financially. There is a change and shift coming. It's all just a matter of timing and having certain things lay out well for you and understanding that the vibration of the next 2 months is going to go very, very quickly. And some of the decisions of the next 2 months are going to be directly because of the way someone else pushed something on you. That Mercury Cazimi was in your 1st house. Pluto is now in your 1st house. The sun being the ruler of the 7th, it is the reflection, the energy of the other side of another person pushing things upon you that is going to make you face certain things. So we have the Sun card, quite literally, and you're the only ones that have had the Sun card. And we have the Nine of Wands. We're getting close to wrapping something up, to finally being done with something. The Nine of Wands is about a burden, but it's a burden that if we just chug along a little bit more, we can wrap it up. We can be done with it. We can finally overcome. It's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel, but there's the light. There's the Sun card. We just need to remove the blockage so something can finally flow. A lot of you are going to have to make some big decisions around this full moon regarding a partnership, regarding a legal matter. It is going to impact the home life. It is going to impact the kids. It is going to impact the personal happiness, but it is also going to be something that allows for you to, again, regain elements of your own personal power and finally take some things forward. Now, we have this Hierophant card, which is very much a tradition card. We have the legal matter things that are going on. We have the family things going on. We also have the Four of Coins. We have a lot of financial decisions where you need to tighten some of those purse strings. Right now, the eclipse axis is in your money houses. It's in your 8th house, other people's money, other people's finances that need to come to a close, certain debts that need to get paid off, certain extensions of your outgoing money needs to dwindle so you can focus on how you are spending your money yourself versus how you're spending it for other people. We don't need to pay everyone else's bills. We need to find ways to be paying our own. Saturn in your 2nd house is saying that. He's been saying it for a while, but it's one of those things that we haven't been able to fully understand the full impacts of Saturn in Pisces for you guys and having certain levels of financial control and asset control until certain shakeups have happened. Now, in a lot of ways, we've already had that first eclipse in Pisces. That happened last September. But that was an area showing us where we needed to make a change, but we are not ready to make changes yet. That was 6 months ago. Everything in the vibration is now about to speak to those changes that we knew about months ago are now going to start to come first and foremost and into fruition and into the light. We have this Wheel of Fortune card. These are your last 2 cards. And we have the 9 of Coins. It is time. Saturn actually rules time. It is time for us to do something in a whole different way. And when I look at the 9 of Coins, I always call this is a boss bitch card. It is a woman who makes her own money, builds her own business, grows her own plants, takes them to the market, puts it in her own bank account. It is a boss bitch card. And the eclipse axis, again, going through your money houses. The modern ruler of your 10th house of career, now in your 1st house, Pluto in your 1st, showing you even more that you have to do the things to take control of your finances, to take control of where you're going next and for the future. And by taking this level of control, you are doing something different to help your home, help your family. Now, some of you might have a family member that is dealing with certain things that are going to be impacting part of the legal matter or part of the situation tied to the other person. Because again, it is a full moon in the 7th, squaring Uranus in the 4th. Part of the issues that you might be having with another person might be because of family members. Part of it can be the family is creating the issue. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're wrong. It can be just shedding and bringing certain things to light, especially whenever it comes to like kids, because Mercury ruling your 5th house of children, Jupiter's in the 5th. Some of the recent revealings can also have impacts around the kids. But again, a lot of this energy speaks to it's time to take a certain amount of control and not be subject to waiting on someone else forever. Okay. Moving along. We're going to get to Pisces and Pisces risings. All right, my loves. This is a full moon in your 6th house, how you care for yourself and how you care for other people, things that are going on in your routine. Your chart ruler is newly direct in your 4th house of home, home life, and family. Neptune has been conjunct the North Node for months now. And for a lot of you, kind of fueling a belief, fueling an idea, fueling some type of spectrum. But others are having a very clouded judgment. So I'm kind of on the fence with you guys. Some of you, whatever is starting to cloud your judgment is also going to impact your work. It is going to impact your health, and it is going to impact your family. This is, again, a full moon in your 6th house. There is health involved. Some of you, whatever is starting to come through is going to have a big impact on the family over the next few months, especially whenever it comes to certain legal situations and legal matters. Some of this might also go back to things that started to come to light last August, last summer, and some of the messy stuff. Some of whatever starts to come through after this full moon can also tie back to the eclipse that happened September 17th of last year. I did not cover that, but that was the first eclipse in the eclipse axis following that full moon in Aquarius that I showed in the intro, even though I labeled it wrong. I'm making fun of myself by talking about that. Some of you are so fueled, and I do mean fueled. Neptune conjunct the North Node. This is the head of the dragon. I will have, I will consume, I will control, I desire, I want, give me, I'm a great baby. North Node in your 1st house. Y'all want something. You want something real bad. And with Neptune in the 1st, it can kind of cloud your judgment. And the longer that clouded is there, it can then make you blind to other things that are going on. And that can either make you blind to something going on in your workplace, full moon in the 6th, or blind to something that is going on in health, whether it's your health or someone else's health. A very different topic. But we can be so consumed by something, we can be missing something. And over the course of the immediate days following the full moon, whenever the moon goes into Virgo and Mercury comes into your 1st, you can even be blindsided by some of the situations that come through, by some of the topics that start to hit. And some of you are going to be forced into some very hard situations. You got the Devil card and you have the 9 of Swords that either you are not prepared to face or you don't want to face. Now, for a long time, Saturn in your 1st had really been giving you guys a backbone. But now that we've got this North Node Neptune vibration going on, some of you guys are really clouded. And even though you've got a backbone, Saturn in the 1st, it's not necessarily doing you a bunch of favors because of how fueled you can be. And it is best to have those things again to check yourself, finding ways to check yourself, but not everybody has the ability to do that. So with this Devil card and the 9 of Swords, some of whatever can be coming to the forefront can be clouding your judgment. So you can be making unclear decisions with this 9 of Swords, but with this Devil card, they can be very harmful decisions depending on the level and length of what we are talking about. And some of you are going to have some things that have been kind of secret going on behind the scenes, going on behind the surface that are about to fall onto your lap. And some of the toxicity of what you're ending up having to face might create a whole new trajectory, whether that's in career, whether that's in family, whether it's in the mix of the two, whether that's in partnership. Whatever starts to fall onto your plate over the next 2 weeks is also setting a stage for a certain amount of like attention, responsibility, and decisions that you can feel that you're ready for, but you might not make all of the right decisions. I wish the North Node wasn't conjunct Neptune. I'm so sorry, guys. But we got new things coming too. So we have the Fool card. We also have this 4 of Wands. This is a stability card. Jupiter is now direct in your 4th house of home, life, and family. So even though we have some blindsiding energy that can come through, whether that's blindsiding in a legal matter, whether that's blindsiding in a partnership, whether that's blindsiding in family, whatever it is, when Mercury comes into Pisces, and that's going to happen immediately following this full moon, whatever new things start to come through, full card, can also lead to the restructuring of certain stability with the Four of Wands. I look at the Four of Wands like chair legs. You want all four chair legs solid on the ground before you put your ass in the seat, or else you're going to fall. We need a certain level of stability to be reached. There is the potential of that new stability to come through, and it allows for whoever we start to entrust to see us in a whole different light too. So there's positives and negatives. For some of you, the way that you're going to be seen, Empress card, is somebody that is stuck in their ways and not willing to be flexible and not willing to be nurturing. And it's going to create issues, with a sibling, with your mom, with that other side. But for some of you, once certain things come to light, depends on, again, your own personal choice and your own personal focus is what's going on. Once certain things come to light and come into focus, it's going to show that sense of pride that you were right the entire time. And the level of support from this new accountability is going to feed into the new level of stability that will start to come through. It's really going to come down to what happens when Mercury comes into Pisces, which that again is on Friday. So I think that's the 14th. And then the sun coming into Pisces right at the end of the week. So that's either Sunday going into Monday. It might actually be Monday. Whatever starts to happen when those two planets move into Pisces, that's going to be the arrival of certain things. And for some of you, that will be blindsiding. For others, that's going to have a whole new level of recognition and a whole new level of stability. Both can be true simultaneously. You can find other people that have done something that has been shady, but once it comes to light, once you reveal it, it offers stability and it offers a whole new level of recognition around you. Some of you, the belief that you're fueled by is to find the truth. For others, the belief that you're fueled by is that you have to be right, even if you're not. And it really comes down to your own ability to check yourself, the cognitive senses that you're dealing with. But there's a fueling in this vibration, and it's going to bring a lot of attention on you over the next few months, whether you like it or not. Okay. I love and appreciate every single one of you. I will talk to everybody very, very soon. Subscribe.